This is the 90 Degree Show brought to you by the Marching Podcast. And now here's your host, the Phantom Podcaster himself, Joe Beard.
Hello everyone, welcome to the 90 Degree Show. I'm your host Joe Beard and happy to be of service for you. This is week 4 of the 2016 season and we are happy to bring you another week of the 90 Degree Show. We appreciate all those listening through iTunes, Facebook, Twitter, our blog, our website, or wherever you are on the interwebs. At the end of the broadcast, if you decide you like the show, then we appreciate a donation to the network if you feel so in your heart, of course. Just simply go to themarchingpodcast.com and click on the donate button to help improve the show and help build our scholarship fund. This podcast was brought to you by Block Band Music and Publishing, The Edge One Productions, and Double Time Entertainment. We welcome you to the 2016 season of the 90 Degree Show. We're happy to talk another year about our beloved schools, super excited to be broadcasting in our own studio, and ready to introduce the new format to the show. We're not taking calls in accordance with Blog Talk Radio anymore. If you would like to be on the show to talk about the battle that you attended, you are welcome to do so and be part of our recording. We will talk to someone who attended the event each week in our roundtable discussions. I will give our guests a list of questions, and they will fill in the personal information they feel important to tell us the tale of the battle. In this podcast, we take a look at Florida A&M versus Tuskegee. Our first-hand view for this battle is the one and only John Leonard, the head band director at Tuskegee University and FAMU Rattler. We ask him how his experience was watching his alma mater and being the director of another school. We then jump over to Alabama to talk about a battle of the bands and a halftime show featuring Alabama A&M and Prairie View A&M. Our first-hand view was Barney Smart of Double Time Entertainment, and Rashad and I discussed what we saw in the video. During this discussion, our broadcast coins another term for our craft. Rashad will give me the credit for play calling, but he himself comes up with this term that will fit into the discussion of Prairie View A&M and Alabama A&M. We hope you enjoy the show. You can email the show at marchingpodcast@gmail.com, tweet us at marchingpodcast, or follow our blog, blog4.themarchingpodcast.com. You're now here with the Marching Podcast. We are in week 4 of the 90 Degree Show, and we always have great guests, but this is really cool, really outstanding guest, Mr. John Leonard. How you doing, sir?
Doing pretty good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Mr. Leonard is the head band director at the Tuskegee University. I chopped it up with him. I think that's like 3 or 4 years ago now, or maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
So you guys can check that out, Chopping It Up with John Leonard. You attended the Florida A&M Tuskegee game. I saw your Facebook post, and that's what really made me call you. I was like, man, I got to see what you thought of your school. Were there any surprises there at the event?
No, I wouldn't say about the event per se, typical classic or football game. You always get a lot of anticipation for the band is going to look like, or what the other band is going to look like, some weather issues. But other than that, it wasn't many surprises. Florida A&M does what Florida A&M does, and Tuskegee, we did what Tuskegee does. And that was pretty much the day.
Okay, all right. What would you say was the best thing that Florida A&M did?
Really, honestly, just musicianship. I thought the band had an excellent sound, attention to detail, just general nuance in the music, and I mean, I really thought they sounded amazing. They had a really great sound. It was surreal to sit on the other side, opposed to being in the band or right up close to it, but just to have the perspective from the other band. So I thought that it sounded amazing. We always hear what other people hear, so you always hear the problems of the band, and we're just as critical, if not more, about the issues that we have music-wise. But just attention to detail and proper warming up and tuning and all that kind of stuff, and not just doing it at the beginning or whatever, but constantly I was actually proud to see some students during the middle of the game to make sure that we're in tune, things that, we always need to focus on, to have our band sound better. I did have a friend to come over this week, Martell Davis. He's actually over the Army band at Fort Benning. He's actually a rattler as well, but he's so close that he came by and helped us out on a few things. Just continue to have my staff to focus in on the details and the things that we want. Until we can really get our instrumentation where we want it, we're really thin on a lot of instruments, but try to just focus in and get the kids to have a more mature sound individually.
Well, it sounds like it sounds like it definitely makes a difference, because when you first look at the video that I saw, you have to look closer to see who is who. And then, like, when you look closer, it's like, oh, okay, they're smaller, that's Tuskegee. But it's not, it wasn't a drastic thing in sound. That's what I want to tell you. Like, when the video I saw, they had the individual songs to each video. So I would just go down the list, like the little playlist thing. And I was looking around. Usually when I'm doing stuff on the Fifth or listening to the Fifth, I'll do something else just because I can hear the band. And then I was like, okay, well, who is this? You know what I'm saying? I had to look at the video to make sure who I was looking at. And, like, what is the best song that you guys throw to get your respect or whatever?
Honestly, we had one of our staff members did an arrangement of Aisha. I think it's from ABC, the group. He passed that out this week. First when I heard it, I was like, okay, it's just another typical HBCU song. But I think the kids really got into it. Did a couple other arrangements. We did Pretty Brown Eyes, and also we did the theme of Power, Biggerstown. I think those went over okay. We're still trying to improve on certain things, like trying to get the groove of the song or the feel of the song. I actually sat back and listened to Aisha, and I thought that was a nice one.
Okay, that's what's up. What was the best thing that you heard that Fam played?
I was really impressed with their arrangement of Father, I Stretch My Hand, I think it's called. Yeah, that one, we were going out because we were trying to get to the restaurant. They played that. I've heard a couple of bands play it, and it's a really good song for bands or whatever, but I really like Fam's arrangement of that. I'm not sure who did it. I'm not sure if Mr. Sargent or Mr. Roll or Shepard did it, but it was a really nice arrangement.
And is that a gospel song? I'm not familiar with the song.
It's a Kanye West song.
Oh, okay.
Funny, I have to get to know these songs and this current music or whatever, but
right.
But it's a Kanye West song. My kids have been begging for it since the beginning of the season. I just haven't gotten around to it, but yeah.
I was talking with Gerard Howard last week. He said the exact same thing you said. He said, man, when they start to play the rap song, he was like, I don't even post the name.
That's funny because it works two ways. A couple of weeks, I think Labor Day weekend, I decided I'm going to go to Atlanta. And I'm going to go into a club just to listen to, what's hot in the streets. I did my little research,
right.
And then I brought a couple of songs back, and the kids were like, what is this? And I'm like, it's hot in Atlanta, it's going to be hot here in a couple of weeks. So just bear with it. Just play it. And, I was all in, I don't know. They were like, you've been listening to too much trap music, Mr. Lanai. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm feeling this song. And they're like, I don't know about this one. This was funny. But, yeah.
So I usually ask the folks who had the best performance, but I can't ask you that. You know what I'm saying? No, you can't ask you that.
Thank you.
But overall, what did you think of the event?
Honestly, I wasn't looking forward to it because I was torn. This is my alma mater versus the school I work for.
Right.
And it was a weird feeling walking into the stadium, and I'm looking at the football players in orange, and I'm like, oh, today they're the enemy. So I'm like, this is a little bit weird. I'm not used to that. But honestly, I thought it turned out to be a really good event. It was well attended. I think it's almost 20,000 people there. I thought both bands did really good as far as giving the crowd a show. I was happy for my band. I was worried because typically we don't get a big stage like that to perform, and I know that sometimes you can either do well or you could be intimidated by the stage. My kids were intimidated by the stage at all. They just jumped right in and just rode the wave of it. I thought the Marching 100 was excellent as usual. Like I said, their musicianship was just amazing. As a Marching 100 member, you look at things with a little bit more critical eye. So there were a couple things that some of the alumni we might have saw, but overall, like I tell everybody, over generation, this band is consistently doing this thing as far as precise and musical. So wasn't real happy about the parade. I thought the parade situation was a little ridiculous. Tuskegee and FAMU we have history because, we were both in the SIAC a long time ago. So we used to play each other all the time. It's been 20 years since we played FAMU, and ironically, I was marching for FAMU when we played the last time. So everything kind of came full circle, and Tuskegee, we pulled off the victory at the last minute. So it was really a happy event for us at Tuskegee.
That's really cool, man. You are like one of the greatest rattlers in history, man. Like, because you done marched at like some big stuff, man. You were there with Tuskegee, and then I know you were there with me in '98.
Right.
And then I think you were with Christy. I think you were with Christy a couple times. So that's what's up, man.
Both bands tribute to Prince. We did a tribute to Prince. Some of the same songs crossed over. I did the Purple Rain, and I think they did I Want to Be Your Lover, and I think we did it too. But I think both bands had different approaches to it. Both bands did a tribute to Prince, dance routines. I think a lot of times in the dance routines, songs may be regional, or even though FAM and Tuskegee are only 3 hours away, but it's Florida versus the Dirty South and Tuskegee, in Alabama. So some things may touch people a different way, and then at the same time, there's some songs that we kind of both played or whatever. And then we have a different element with our dancing girls or whatnot. So, like I said, both bands did an excellent job. It's always tell people to war and they're the enemy and all this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, you want both bands to give the crowd a show. If you ask who won, and then the crowd can say the crowd won, I think that's the best halftime show. So, you're always going to have your favorite depending on your perspective or whatever. Like I said, both bands I thought did really good. And I thought it was, it just made for a really great match.
Yeah, because when both bands are good, it makes the classic better, and it makes more people want to show up when they know that. Yeah,
and I know, and I'm sure you could pretty much say the same thing. Even though we have our band and we love our band, at the end of the day, we may be band geeks or whatever you want to call it. We just want to see great bands do their best. It makes you better.
Mm-hmm. Well, I sure appreciate it, man. Is there anything you want to say in closing? Anything that we should be looking up for Tuskegee in the coming months or the coming weeks?
We're gonna go forth with the rest of our season. I think it's pretty much SIAC. We got a couple of games outside the conference, but for the most part, SIAC grow this program to where it should be. Just looking forward to contribute to this culture that we call HBCU marching band. Keep an eye out for us. We'll be here.
Need to write music and drill? Get it on the field. Outfit your band. Keep your administrator happy and still have a life. Encountering drama in the process, ain't nobody got time for that. Let Block Band Music assist you with musical arrangements and drills to fit your band, and also the equipment, gear, and accessories to keep the visuals, music, and marching on point. Contact blockbandmusic@gmail.com and see how this worldwide minority-owned business can uplift your band.
Hi, this is Avery McFadden, Jackson State University graduate, Sonic Boom Funk Found 1997. You are listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
We are in week 4 here with the 90 Degree Show. We will be highlighting the Prairie View A&M versus Alabama A&M game. And to talk that game, we have the great Barney Smart, owner and founder of Double Time Entertainment, and also one of the sponsors of this show. What's going on today, sir?
Not much, my brother. Just heading back. 65 South back home.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I really appreciate your time. And the magnanimous Rashard Waters. What's going on, man?
What's happening, sir? Good to talk to you as always, man.
Barney, what did you do this week, man?
This week, not much really other than just getting prepared to go to this event, viewing film and making new contacts and setting up possible future endeavors later on. There's a gentleman He has his own servers, basically. He has permission to broadcast different games through the internet. He wants to work with Double Time to see if we can film, and we could do the games and halftime show and stream it live stream. Not like Periscope, but with the full editing and everything. You watch an ESPN through your internet. I spent my week doing that. Who knows? It may work, it may not work, but only man above can tell.
Yeah, man. Good luck with that. Rashad, what'd you do this week, man?
For me, mainly it was taking care of Block Band, taking care of customers all across the nation. We just delivered some pink gloves to Virginia Union University. They were our first college customer a couple of years back, and they've continued to stick with us. And now we've moved on to our second college customer, where we just delivered we're in the process of delivering some mouthpieces and spats and reads to Livingstone College out of North Carolina.
Oh, nice.
So we've been doing a lot of high school business so far, but now we're starting to bleed over into the colleges as well.
That's awesome, bro.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
All right, so for me, I didn't really do too much this week. It's my birthday today, so I was chilling all week, kind of getting things ready for that.
I will sing happy birthday too, but I don't want you to lose no listeners.
Yeah, right.
Birthday though, man.
Yeah, man, appreciate it, man. So my son is on the
Are you 21 now, right?
21, yo. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
About to get my first drink and everything. You know what I'm saying? My son is on the 23rd. So now, pretty much since he's here, I just basically get things prepared for his day. My mom is coming into town next week. We getting the kids dedicated at our church. So we went to the baby dedication thing at our church, and it was for the parents. So, like, they tell you at first, hey, this is the baby dedication, but this is really the parent dedication. So it was all about being responsible and raising your kid up in the eye of the Lord. And, it's your responsibility. Make sure that you're the role model. So it was stuff like that. My wife and I were really pleased. Abundant Living Family Church, that's where we go. And Rancho Cucamonga, out there with Cousin Day Day and them. Really, really cool, really good event this week. And I saw the Southern, I think one of their students passed, a girl, and forgive me because I do not know the girl's name. I think it was Lexi, but I saw that she passed from ovarian cancer or something, and the band was aware of it and made her name on the field. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, man, I just saw it, I think today, and I think, shout out to Garrett Edgerson. I think he posted it on his Facebook page. So if you guys are out there listening, I'm sure you guys know Garrett the Edge one, or if you guys are on Facebook, and I try to make sure we get it on the 5th, but just giving Southern some props for, they made her name on the field. I think it was Lexi, Lexi. Actually, it caught a couple of media friends or whatever, and then saw a couple of things like where she died. So those are the things that I saw this week. So shout out to Southern, and shout out to the church for the program that they have.
Yeah. Those guys at Southern, man, I do have to say, man, that those are some quality guys over there. I got to give them over there at Southern. I definitely got to give them their props for that.
Yeah, I totally agree, Rashad. I saw another thing. I guess I just thought about Ohio State apparently sent Southern University like a drum head or a bass drum head or something like that, and I guess it had Ohio State on it. So shout out to them, and I guess shout out to Ohio State recognizing one of our bands. It's always good when you see someone scary, like give them a gift so they don't come for you. So that's what Ohio State was doing. No, I'm just playing. No, but no, it was great getting that response from them. So that's cool. Shout out to them. Really appreciate you guys being on to talk week 4. I was really excited to see this matchup, and it did not disappoint me. So we'll jump right into Prairie View versus Alabama A&M. There was a battle of the bands that Friday night. Double Time Entertainment, you guys check out their video. They went to the event, so you guys can get all of the stuff from them. Make sure you look on YouTube to check that out. And I will ask Barney and ask Rashad some things about Friday night, and we'll talk about the game that took place on Saturday. First question, sir. What was your initial reaction, Barney, to the Battle of the Bands on Friday?
It was a huge positive because this was the first time that A&M ever hosted an event like this, and to have Prairie View come up all the way from Texas, which was their first time coming to A&M. You know, a lot of folks who live in Huntsville or went to A&M or never saw Prairie View in person because obviously we all know that's a long trip. The band took about 7 to 8 buses. Once again, I will repeat, 7 to 8 buses from Prairie View. Overall event, I mean, it was very positive. It was a sold-out event. It was hot. I mean, it was really hot. The A&M needs to upgrade their air conditioning system, but when you got 400 people plus on the gym floor, then you got seating around gymnasium. It was packed. I mean, it was great turnout. The event started at 10 o'clock at night because they wanted at least Prairie View time enough to get into Huntsville, get checked into the hotels, feed the kids, go up on campus and practice a little bit, as well as getting the local high school kids, once they were done with their football games, they were able to come on campus and check out both A&M and Prairie View because a lot of those kids hadn't seen Prairie View as well. Overall event, great success. Shout out to the Alabama A&M Alumni Boosters Association because they are the ones that put that on, and the proceeds was split in half to A&M and to Prairie View.
Nice.
I'm not sure on the financial numbers, but that was something for them to do, and they raised money for themselves, so tickets were like $5. You can't beat that for a battle of bands in town, indoors. They raised some pretty good money. I know that for a fact.
That's outstanding, man. Now, who were you looking most forward to see, Barney, when you rolled up in there and everybody got there? Were you looking forward to see one more than the other?
Well, you know me. I'm not a band head. I'm a band geek. Different. I really love to see the competitive nature between any band and what they have to bring to the table. What I was looking for, I wanted to see how A&M was going to sound, how Prairie View was going to sound, and because you weren't going to get too much visual effects or a show, pretty much a visual show doing those type of battle bands. For the most part, I was looking forward to hearing both bands, and Prairie View, of course, because I hadn't seen Prairie View much. And the only time I get to see Prairie View, if it's not on YouTube, it's at the Honda. That's just a long drive for anybody to go to. That was my biggest thing. I was looking forward to seeing the new band director and under his regime, what they were going to bring at Prairie View. And I've seen A&M every year, a couple times a year, and I just want to see did they get better from last year to where they are now. And I was impressed. I was really impressed with both bands.
Okay, who do you think had the best performance for the Friday night?
Game,
for Friday night.
For the Friday night.
Yeah.
I would say A&M and Prairie View both put on a great show. Put it that way. Now, the biggest thing what I was taken back on was how powerful Prairie View A&M's band is and their sound. Now, if those who that know me, I am not in favor of blowing loud and trying to find out who can hit that Super C. And when you got guys trying to hit Super C, they can't do it. They've been practicing all week. They can't do it on the week. Why you want to do it on Saturday? Don't do it. I like balance. I like intonation. I like tone. That's my claim to fame. That's what I look for. And how well are the arrangements? Do the arrangements complement the band, or are they too complicated? Are they too simple, or do they fit that band program? That's what I look for. And I thought both bands really, I thought both bands' arrangements really brought out a lot of their strong points. And even if they might be weak in certain areas, they had a little spot in certain songs that brought it out.
You went with A&M? Is that what I heard? Or you hear?
Yeah, I went with A&M. A&M, Prairie View A&M, and Alabama A&M. That's who I went with, A&M.
Right. Nice.
To be honest with you, Alabama A&M has been improving every year. What I was really impressed about A&M this year was their trumpets. They've been slowly on the come-ups, but their baritones have been strong. And the baritones are there, but the trumpets really what stuck out to me the most because the trumpets were cut through a lot of those songs. I said, wow, okay, I hear trumpet. And then on the other side for Prairie View, man, their upper brass is really good for their size, but the middle and lower brass, wow. You get goosebumps when you hear it. Like, wow, man, they sound real good. I will tell you this. I like Prairie View. The only thing that I really cannot stand about Prairie View. Their percussion section plays too doggone loud. And by being in that gymnasium, percussion section outplayed the band so much, you missed out on a lot of pieces of the music that they were playing. Unless you got that drum break, because there's no percussion playing at all, and then you can actually hear the fullness and the deep, rich tones of the brass. I was like, wow. Man, I wish they just play on the rim for the rest of the night. But, the tenor drum's so doggone loud, the bass drum's so doggone loud. But other than that, they're a very, very, very good band. And when I talked to the band director, I was like, well, how many people is it? It was 250 people that they brought up, and they left 65 behind.
Wow.
What?
So, yes, Prairie View is over 300.
Good gracious.
And it's funny you brought up the drum section being so loud. Their whole band is loud to me. It's like everybody is loud, but to me it seems like they're all the same volume. And I know probably Rashad could probably break it down more. But yeah, they do sound good and they're loud, but it's just like, man, I don't hear a lot of the different levels of the song. And I guess like I say, I know with Alabama A&M, when I was watching the video, I just heard more parts. That tone, Alabama A&M, that is, they have a really clear sound, a clarity, and you can hear the highs and the lows. They have a really good overall sound. So, Barney, was there anything bad about the event, or was there anything negative that you would say about the event that they could maybe change for next year?
If they could change it for next year, I would say try to have it at another venue. And the reason why I say that is because it was a great event. Don't get me wrong. It was a well-planned, great event. I thought the people behind it, they did a really good job. It was so hot in there. Didn't have a bigger venue. And I believe both bands would have been able to make a lot more money as far as a fundraiser as an event like this was to get a bigger venue and with air conditioning. I broadcast it live on Periscope. And I was down filming on the ground, and one of my team members, Double Time, she was up top filming, and she was calling me to come up, so I had to run back upstairs to check to see what was going on. The band was so loud with percussion, it was vibrating the tripod, and film from my phone was kind of distorted. So I had to stop what I was doing. I had two guys already filming on the floor, so I had to actually hold it up by hand, the tripod by hand, for the rest of the show, which I got a little nice little workout. But, it was able to work out. I'm glad everybody was able to watch it without any distorted footage. Yeah, that's what we had to do for you guys behind the scenes that y'all don't know about.
Yeah, man, I'm about to say that's some real good videographer information. That's tight.
Yeah.
If it was any testament to what Barney was saying about Prairie View's drumline being so loud, it was only for Prairie View that was happening. Right. When the Prairie View's band first marched in, the video was every time they'd hit, boom, the whole video would shake. The bass drum stopped playing, it was okay. But as soon as the bass drums came back in again, the whole thing would just go crazy. But when A&M's percussion section came in, it was just all good.
Double Time Entertainment. Our passion is music and promoting HBCU marching bands as well as high school marching bands through high-quality movie videos and photos. We have worked with BET, Yamaha, Ludwig, Honda Motor Company, and been featured on CNN and Lifetime Network's series Bama State Style. We also help and orchestrate Battle of the Bands with marketing and promotions, and also became the official media team for the Queen City Battle of the Bands in Charlotte, North Carolina. Join Double Time Entertainment on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and now new on Periscope. Music lovers are noteworthy.
This is Warren Shaw, Chief Arranger and the voice of McClarkenland University, Mighty Marching Panthers. You are listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
That's a good segue, Rashad. What did you think about their sound? Because you and I weren't there, but what did you think about the sound between the two bands?
So as far as the sound, which band was better, it depends on what they were playing. When it came to the slow songs, I believe that A&M had the better sound. When the percussion section was just away and it was just the winds or maybe very little percussion, the slow songs that Alabama A&M played were magical. It's like, wow, that sounds beautiful. I mean, you could hear the woodwinds and you could just hear everything was very well balanced. When it came to the power songs, it was really kind of hard to judge because Prairie View seemed to be so much bigger than A&M. So things were coming through a lot clearer, I believe, because you got 20 baritones on the part or more versus maybe 10 baritones on the part. That baritone part is obviously going to come through a little clearer. But I do believe Prairie View was playing a little bit better on the fast songs and the hype songs.
Okay. What did you think about the venue? We didn't know it was hot. You know what I'm saying?
But it felt hot. Yeah, it felt hot.
But what did you think about the venue where they had it?
Yeah, I thought it was a little small. As soon as the event started, it's like, gosh, this gym looks really small. Kind of surprised that they had it in there. I guess is that the basketball stadium on A&M? I know a lot of campuses will have the main basketball stadium, but also they may have another one that was their old basketball stadium. Was that the main one, Barney?
Yeah, that's the Elmore Building. That's where they play their home games. And it was one of the main reasons why it was because the venue was free. They didn't have to pay anything for it. Shout out to the president and all the folks, the attorneys and all them folks up there at A&M for allowing those both universities to perform there without having to charge the programs to use that venue as a fundraiser for them. So that was a big thing. I thought, because I went to A&M, I thought that I was on the yard kind of watching the basketball game again because it was so hot. I was like, man, I forgot how hot it is in here. The whole format was each band, when they came in, each band was going to play their school song, and after the school song, each band were going to play a spirit song or get hype mix, I guess you could say. And then that was to get the party started. And then the next thing was they wanted to do a march. Carlton Wright and Dr. Zachary down at Prairie View, they got together and said, hey, let's do this. And then after that, they wanted to go back and forth a student arranger song.
Nice.
They were going to play something from Prairie View that a student arranger wrote, and then something that A&M student arranger wrote, and they were going to go against on that. Then they did a dance battle for Black Foxes against the Divas, and then the Flag Girls. They wanted to feature each Flag Girls from both universities. I think after that, then they went into like a small fifth. That was the segue. I might be missed one or two more little categories, but that was the format of the event. I think it ended about 12:30.
Mm-hmm.
I walked out the gym about 2 o'clock.
I actually really like that versus just having bands just throwing stuff back and forth at each other.
For them to feature a student arranger's piece during this event, I thought that was pretty. That was pretty well off there to do that, and to hear what each band is bringing to the table as far as what the music majors are doing. So I thought that was pretty nice.
That's right. And as soon as y'all finish, go ahead and holler at Rashad, and he'll give you a job. You know what I'm saying? That's tight.
One of the surprises was actually the way the crowd treated Prairie View. It was kind of funny, actually. I don't know if A&M has just got a lot of school pride or what, but Prairie View would be bringing some straight fire on a song. And then after they would stop playing, it would just be crickets. I was like, man, like that was pretty good. Like I know there was one song that they played. It was a slow song, and it was pretty good. And the trombones came with like the melody, and then it ended. And I was like, okay, that was too short. And I can understand how the crowd didn't respond to that. Like after that trombone melody, it really should have gone back to the full band again. Like that's what we wanted. So when the song ended, it's like, But there was at least two other times when Prairie View was really bringing it, and I didn't really see anything wrong with what they did, and they just got nothing. As far as disappointments were concerned, I did have a few of those. The first disappointment was, man, I was so sick of the rap songs. I was just so sick of 8 bars of this, and then boom, home, 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 and then we come back in and play it again. And then, all right, let's play the next song, and it goes, home. Ho, 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 ho. Like, man, like, I just want to hear a song, like a full song. You know, even if it's a rap song, I just want to hear the whole song from top to bottom. I just got so tired of hearing these intros, bass line, and then this bring everybody back in again. All right, let's drop the drums out. You know, it was just the same thing over and over again. I was really excited to get to some of the other things. On top of that disappointment, it was kind of like when A&M played their Flag Girl songs. Okay, we're going to do a song for the flags. And then they did the same thing. Play a Flag Girl song, not the first song.
Oh, okay.
They played a rap song, you know, where they dropped out the upper winds and just had the tubas playing. And, you know, and the girls had the chairs and stuff, and I didn't really understand. I mean, the chairs were cool, but I don't think they really brought a whole lot to what was happening there. And then that happened again later, the dance girls as well. I wasn't really feeling that. I was very pleased to hear the fifth quarter with A&M and actually hear them play songs from top to bottom. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what I wanted. But during the Battle of the Bands, nah. My other major disappointment was the drum battle. I just didn't understand the drum battle. Starting with Prairie View's drum line, you know, we have known them for years as McFunkbox, and I think that may have changed. You know, it seemed like they were saying a different name. I think I heard something about them going by a different name over the course of the last couple of years. I know I'm late on that, but we traditionally know them as McFunkbox, and we know them as one of the most entertaining drum lines that's been out there. You know, they're like the Little Richard of drum lines. You know, they are the architect. I'm the architect. I'm the originator. I invented this. They started that type of stuff, as far as I know, when it comes to having a really entertaining drum feature consistently during the halftime show. We love what Cold Steel does, but Prairie View was doing that stuff a whole lot longer. So I was really expecting them to come out there and just have a very exciting show. Just pull out all the stops, man. And they always have played. They play well and they're entertaining. But Prairie View came out, they did like a dance type of cadence, and then they did the second cadence. And that was like kind of like a dance type of cadence a little bit. And then they did their third one, and that was a dance type of cadence. I just didn't understand. Like, it was a lot of 2 and 4 and a lot of dancing, but there wasn't a whole lot of playing going on. I just didn't understand what happened there. That's not what we're used to from Prairie View. On the other side, A&M came out, and they definitely outplayed them. The crowd was even responding to the snare drum features that they did. But all they did was stand still, and I was very surprised by that. I would have thought that they would have made some formations and moved around a little bit, but they played their feature, and then after that, the snare drums had a solo, the multitones had a solo, the tenor drums had a solo, bass drums had a very short solo, then the multitones played again, and that was it. It's like, okay, we're done. I was like, what? It just felt really, really weird. That was kind of a down part for me.
My disappointment was, like you guys say, the venue and like risers. That's kind of the only thing. I just wish that the bands wasn't just standing on the floor against each other and they were just facing each other. At least have some risers or where they could have like some type of stand. That's the only disappointment. But hearing that the schools got the money, the schools planned it, they worked out the format, all that stuff like that, that's what's really exciting to me. The actual game took place on Saturday, and our man Barney was there. Double Time Entertainment was there. You guys make sure you check out his video.
Well, to be honest with you, I was there, but I was not able to view it like I wanted to. I was actually operating a drone, so I was too busy not trying to make the thing crash and on top of somebody's head or collide with another drone in the sky, because it was actually, man, what's so crazy about it, I thought I was going to have the only drone up there. I looked up, there was 5 more other drones up there with mine. So it was 6 drones in the sky at the same time.
You spent the whole weekend working maintenance, holding tripods.
Yeah, man. As the years go by, it gets more technical and technical, man. And from what I heard and what I saw on my monitor from the drone, Prairie View came out. They were the visiting band, so they came out first. They came out and spelled Prairie View A&M on the field, PVA AMU on the field, and played that Entertainment Tonight theme song.
I love that, man.
It was really crisp and clear.
Yeah, I love that.
That was really crisp. And Trumpet said, yeah. I was like, woo.
Oh, wait. So, hold on. I missed it. How did that go again?
Don't do it again.
I missed it. What was that?
Don't do it. You're going to have to edit that. Then they went into drill. The drill was like, just get to your next spot. Not no follow leader or no step 2 drill. It was get to your next spot to make these formations. Tribute to Prince, and played the last 16 measures of Purple Rain. And what's so funny about it is Prince must have some type of, he must still have some type of presence, because the last couple of times I know people have played Purple Rain, it has rained. And when they started playing it, it started raining. Little drizzle, wasn't raining downpour, but a little drizzle here and there. And I was like, wait, this is like the fourth time this has happened. And then they went back into this formation on the field where they all grouped up into the center of the field, like one big circle, and they kind of did like a fast march or a double time out of it into one circle and made this storm.
Like a cyclone.
Exactly. They went into that, which I thought was, viewing it from the monitor, it was pretty neat how they did it. Something unique, something that I don't think nobody's doing or maybe had not done before. Charged my head, not my heart. But I thought that was pretty neat. The Black Foxes, they were really, really good in their show as well. Provide a lot of entertainment for the fans. And A&M's crowd was conceptually really well compared to Friday night. You had a different group of age range of folks from Friday night and Saturday night. A lot of people, they clapped for them and thought they did a pretty good job. And A&M, they came on the field and they did a little Prince tribute as well. And like I said, I had to review more of the tape. I just not getting back home, but to see other versions of it instead of what I was seeing. After the game was over, both bands played their school song. Actually, before that, Prairie View A&M played a song, and I still cannot remember the doggone name of the song. It's going to be okay. Everything's going to be all right. I think it's part of the lyrics of the song. And they played that, and, man, that song had so much oomph behind it. You can tell when someone plays a song when they have confidence behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had confidence behind that song. You can tell this wasn't no song they at the library about a week ago. This song they've been playing for a while, and when they were playing it, they were rocking with it too. And then when the football team ran over to the stands in front of the band, they played their alma mater. After that was over, A&M played their alma mater, and they went right into the fifth quarter after that. A&M played, I can't remember, guys, what the first song they played, but they played the first song, and after they finished the first song, I look back, and all the videographers turn around to go to the next side, to Prairie View. They walking down the stairs. They were getting ready to head back to the hotel room, feed the students, and get ready to get up early in the morning and head back.
Okay. So it wasn't too much of a fifth, really. So who do you think had the best performance?
Still had to review tape because I was watching the monitor on the drone. As far as sound-wise, if you're looking for that loud sound, Prairie View had a loud sound. They were very loud. They were very full. I think A&M had a balanced sound.
What jumped out to me, they attacked and released the same time. It's like they all on the same page.
They did.
And it's just like, man, y'all are straight. So I thought they were louder, but they were just so complete. So it's like you can't say one was better than the other. I just thought I was like, man, these are two really good bands. Hi, everyone. This is Joe Beer, the Phantom Podcaster and owner and founder of the Marching Podcast. I want to tell you guys about this website, theedge1pro.com. That's DAEDGE1pro.com. This is the website of my man Garrett Ederson, the media director for Southern University's Human Jukebox. If you want to see great bands and a good idea of the HBCU experience, log into theedge1pro.com. Garrett has photos and videos of events on campus, along with parades of bands of all levels. So check out the Edge One Productions and theedge1pro.com.
This is Natalie Kennedy Beard, Spelman College alumni, class of 1971. You're listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
And this is just my, no pun intended, prunalysis.
Copyright.
I think three bands that really, don't charge me for that one. I think there's three bands that really stick out to me in the swag that kind of have that, they get it. And that's A&M, Prairie View A&M, and UAPB. I mean, the song selections that they have, that's one, the arrangements that they have, and all of it fits together. Now, people might not agree with me, and that's all well and good, but that's just what I think. They have a chorale sound, and it's full, and it's deep, and it's rich. It's nice. It's real nice sound. But what y'all definitely got to check out is what I heard in the fifth when A&M played their last song was Howard Hewitt, This Ring. Oh, my goodness. Y'all got to check that out. Oh, my goodness. I got goosebumps right now thinking about it. Wow. I'm actually just pulled up to the house. I'm going to listen to it as soon as I get in. So shout out to Mario Warren for a job well done on that. Shout out to Dr. Zachary and Prairie View for making that 14-hour haul up to Huntsville and having a great show and participating in that event, when everything comes together even more.
Rashad, who do you think had the best performance, man?
When it came to halftime, I think I would have to give it to Alabama A&M. To me, the difference was the clarity of that sound. This Alabama A&M sound on the field was just amazing to me. And you could really hear the difference between them on Friday and them on Saturday, because the percussion section makes all the difference. When you're inside and that percussion sound can't escape, it tends to drown out a lot of what's happening, and you lose all the hard work that the winds are putting into it. But on the field, the percussion sound is going everywhere, and so the winds are able to have a more prominent sound. And so it was just a much clearer sound. I agree 100% with what Barney just said, that there are 3 bands that are working to distinguish themselves from the rest of the SWAC bands. I'm starting to call it the new SWAC. But
nice.
As far as the sound quality is concerned, I think Alabama A&M leads those 3 bands. They really, really sounded good.
I like that. The new SWAC. And then
the new SWAC.
The different division. I like that. That's cool.
Prairie View, they did a good show. They did the same show as they did against Texas A&M. And to me, I saw the exact same issues with some of the formations. Like when you look at the PV, AMU, the V has some issues crooked, in it. Yeah. They went from there. They made something else, and then they made Storm on the field. That's something else that they made after that first one. That one was a little off, too.
It looked like Mayo, but I didn't think it was Mayo.
It was Macy's, wasn't it?
Macy's, that's what it was, Macy's.
Yeah, and the Y was a little off on the Macy's. And there are some issues where the chords are drowning out the melody. I still think they have some things to work on there. And I thought they did a good show, but something just didn't fit together just right for me. I thought their drill was fine. I like how they do the drill, and they don't do very much of the drill before they go into the Dance Girl song, and then they drill again. Like, that's a pretty cool idea. I've never seen anybody do it like that, and it might be an idea that catches on, because the drill can sometimes be the lowest energy part of your show. And if you spend 2 minutes, a minute and a half of your show drilling, sometimes you can lose that energy. But if you're doing 45 seconds of drill, bring out the dancers, and then drill again, that can kind of change things up a little bit. So props to them on that. I thought the hurricane thing, the storm thing was kind of okay. It's interesting to me that the bass drums are the last ones to get into that. I would have thought the bass drums would have been the first ones. But compared to A&M came out there. Honestly, it was kind of hard to see some of their formations. I think just because of all the white that they have on kind of makes it hard to see them versus the yard lines. That was for me. So I know that they made a lot of cool things on the field, but it was harder for me to see it. But the lines were straight. I thought they did a good job with it. But again, that my main thing with them is just that sound. So I would have to give the show A&M. I don't think either band really did an outstanding show. For example, last week I was talking about the fact that I didn't have a question. I didn't have a doubt in my mind that Tennessee State won the halftime show against Jackson State. And I told you how I was yelling at the computer, like, because I was so hype about what I was seeing there. I didn't see that this time. I didn't feel that type of energy. I thought both bands did a good show. I thought A&M sounded better.
The Storm, the Cyclone, I think they could do something better with it. Mm-hmm. It's a good idea, but it feels like it's missing something, or something they could do to it to make it better. It's something I wish that they could do to kind of clean it up. It's missing something, you know what I mean? Right. Then I think Prairie View, they pretty much spelled words. They just changed words, essentially. I guess I wasn't used to it. They were in the word storm, and then the dancers were under dancing. So I'm sure that's got a good visual effect, probably some really good Facebook cover photos, you know what I'm saying? When the dancers are doing, I like to see like the whole band in some type of concert formation. So it's probably maybe a personal thing. Alabama A&M, just like you said, Rashad, they just have the clarity in their sound. I'm not a fan of the whole get there drills. You don't see too much of a smooth transition, and it's like ants, and then all of a sudden they just like form something. And it seemed like both bands did that in their drill, so I'm not the biggest fan of that. I didn't see anything that made one band jump over the other, where it was like, oh, man, they got them, man. It was definitely a mutual respect there that I liked. So that was cool. The words. I think the words were, I wanted to see more formation because I like drill, and that's me personally. Alabama A&M had some drill formations, but I didn't really care for them too much. And then that last thing that they did when they were dancing, I didn't really care for that formation. When the A was crooked in the Macy's and then the V was crooked, I was like, I'm looking for small things. I'm looking for detail. So it was probably a draw.
Hey, Joe, got to mention the fact that A&M made the Prince logo on the field.
Yes, they did.
That was pretty cool. And then after that, the second formation, I swear they made the leadership, the Matrix, what is it? The Matrix of Leadership from Transformers, the movie? I know it's like the 35th, what is it? The 35th anniversary of Transformers, the movie. So I swear they made the Matrix of Leadership out there. I was waiting on Optimus Prime to come back to life.
Wow, yeah. And even A&M's the spacing, it seemed like they may have had some holes on the field too. Both left more to be desired as far as drill is concerned and as far as looking tight. But the sound, no, Jack. Both of them coming with the heat. Maybe the halftime was a draw, but I am biased. I have talked to Dr. Zachary, and we chopped it up with Brother Wright, but Brother Wright is the bruz. So I got to give it to A&M just because he's the bruz. Root to the Qs. No, I'm just playing. I would like to see these two go at it in a bloodbath.
Another thing I neglected to mention was this was kind of like the future Hampton-Norfolk battle. Because, Carlton Wright, being a grad student at A&M,
That's right.
Mr. Smart Sr. was the band director at A&M for a while, came to Hampton. The Wright then went to Hampton as a grad student there. So a lot of their sound concepts of things, that you can look at the parallel between the time that Barney Smart was at Hampton and the sound that Carlton Wright has at A&M. Mm-hmm. And then if you look at the fact that Dr. Zachary was also on staff at Norfolk, and you see that similar type of sound at Prairie View A&M, it's a reincarnation of a Hampton versus Norfolk battle.
That's a good analogy, too, because I was thinking about that. I said Zachary, he did undergrad at Southern with Patty Gregg, and then was up there at Norfolk State with Paul Adams and O'Neal Sanford. A good analogy on that, Rashad.
Yeah, about to say, I didn't know that either. See, boy, just the unbelievable knowledge here. Barney, you have anything in closing, anything going on with Double Time Entertainment that we should know about before we sign off?
Just not getting back in town from Huntsville. We're planning on going up the East Coast here in a couple of weeks, Hampton and A&T. We're going to do that coming up. Next week might be in Tallahassee as well, FAMU versus South Carolina State. And they're having a battle of bands the night before, too, down in Tallahassee. It's good to see that FAMU is getting some numbers back as well, too. They're slowly but surely getting back to where they used to be. As far as Double Time and editing, filming, working on a couple projects, and you guys will be the first to know once we get those deals done.
Always something good happening with Block Band, sir. We are now getting into sponsorship season because now is the time of the year when people buy spats and shoes and gloves and drum heads and things, and those things are much more profitable than music, and so that allows us with extra money laying around that we can then give out to our band programs. We love to sponsor band competitions. It's just a way for us to get our name out there and a way for those band programs to add a little extra money in their profit. One of the main ones that we do every year, Dillon High School Battle of Bands, that's going to be coming up really soon, but I'm sure we'll have several others that we'll be doing. In addition to that, for both of you guys here, my staff has decided that we're going to have our second company conference on October the 6th. That's going to be at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's an opportunity for companies like Double Time Entertainment, like the Marching Podcast and Block Band, and many of the other companies that are out there that support Showstop Bands to talk, converse, and see how we can't help each other. I hope you guys will be able to make it, and I hope anybody that's listening to this, we're not already aware of you, that you will contact us so that you can get the invite for our teleconference that'll be held over the phone.
How can someone get that invite, Rashad?
Just email me at blockbandmusic@gmail.com. Again, that's blockbandmusic@gmail.com. Or you can give me a call. I'm at 919-698-2560. Either one of those ways, we'll go ahead and get you on in there. This is our second year doing it. We've had some really cool companies and some real cool conversations. Really great people involved in our art form coming together. I just want to put it out real quick that in order for our art form to reach the next level, it can't be up to the band directors because the band directors are too busy running the band. It is a very time-consuming process. It has to be the people that love band but are not currently teaching to lift it up. Barney's doing to get the visual out there so people can see it, the quality video, or to talk about it. You're doing with your show, Joe, just having that discussion about it allows people to know more about it, or to give the band programs the equipment that they need, and then to provide the sponsorship. It's organizations like ours that have to uplift the band programs. So these are going to be the ones that help to push our band programs even more on the national spotlight.
That's outstanding. And that is, again, October 6th.
October the 6th at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
5 Pacific. Don't forget about Pacific. Thanks again for listening to week 4 of the 90 Degree Show. Love to hear about Barney and the true Hollywood stories of filming the show-style marching bands. He had to hold the camera by hand because of the power and volume of their Prairie View drum section. And man, that is something to be proud of, or something to adjust. You just never know. Either or, I thought it was great identifying the method that they roll with and how Barney had to adjust, and how you can see what he is saying on his video. So make sure that you check out Double Time Entertainment on YouTube. So we have another phrase that is now the new SWAC, if you will. UAPB, Prairie View, Alabama A&M, they are establishing themselves as the new SWAC, according to Rashad. So we will be getting more details from him in the future about that. I like the term because it's breathing new life into the SWAC from a parody standpoint, and that builds what we do and makes more schools attractive to the youth. So shout out to Rashad for breaking down and bringing or introducing that new style to the craft. Lastly, we want to recognize Lexi Holland, a melancholy recognizing of Lexi Holland, a 2016 Southern graduate from Lake Charles, Louisiana. Lexi lost her life in September 3rd to ovarian cancer. So prayers to her family. We talked about them in the show and how Southern made her name on the field. So prayers to her and her family. If you are interested in becoming a sponsor or a patron to the Marching Podcast, please contact the show and we'll give you the criteria so we can start to pub your business using our platform. We'll play your commercial, we'll post your website on our blog, and we'll help send out your information through social media. So contact us so we can help build your business.
Hi, this is Avery McFadden, Jackson State University graduate, Sonic Boom, Trump Funk Pound, 1997. You are listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
This is Warren Shaw, Chief Arranger and the voice of McClarkenland University, Mighty Marching Panthers. You are listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
This is Natalie Kennedy Beard, Spelman College alumni, class of 1971. You're listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
That's all the time we have for the show. Check out the website and donate what's in your heart to themarchingpodcast.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Thanks to you for listening. And remember, the lectures you deliver may be very fine and true, but I'd rather get my lesson by observing what you do. See you next time.